Alright, we should be live now. Give me a sec. I'm just gonna post up some links. Alrighty. Got chat up now. Okay. Alright, should be good now. Let me know if I need to adjust the volume. Things are too loud or too quiet. And we'll go on from there. I originally wasn't going to stream this. Just, was thinking like, there's not going to be anything significant. And then I was thinking about it over the course of this week, and I was like, well, it's an excuse to stream with you guys. And then I saw the lineup for the games that are going to be shown at this show, and I was like, oh, there's actually going to be some good, stuff. At least what they're saying. So I decided to kind of last minute stream this. Apologies. Volume seems good. Thanks, Tynal. How's it going, Trigum? It's good to see you guys. So yeah, just I thought, okay, might as well just live stream this. Something to do, a chance to chat with you guys and kind of check in and stuff, and hopefully there's some good announcements or details. Yeah, there's only one here. I was worried I had like the a different language up for this stream, but what is the showcase? So this is by Games Radar. This showcase, it is their own kind of little thing. They did this during the Summer Games Fest slash E3 not E3 week last year, where basically they have this presentation. They have voice actors actually hosting this event, and basically it's a bunch of kind of smaller, think like indie and AA games. That's what this showcase kind of focuses on. So yeah, there's supposed to be some interesting stuff here. So we'll see. How's it going, Tyler? Tyler, I remember your message. I think it was earlier this week. You asked me if I was going to stream this, and I was like, probably not. And then I ended up changing my mind. So honestly, if Tyler didn't mention it, then I probably wouldn't be here. So anyway, thank you for reminding me, Tyler. I appreciate it. Anyway, yeah, there's supposed to be some good stuff. We should be hearing about Remedy's multiplayer game in this, and Kronos from the guys who Blooper Games, who did the Silent Hill 2 remake, their next game, that's supposed to be shown here. I know they're doing something for Adamfall, which is coming out in like I think a week or two, and some other stuff here too. So there actually should be some good announcements here. Yeah, like Tyler mentioned, it's a good in-between show as we kind of ramp up to I guess the Summer Games Fest E3 not E3 week that's coming up during the summer. In fact, they should have another summer showcase for the same show in a couple of months. So I think it's Nolan North is hosting this event today, and I forgot the other lady's name. It's usually a duo of voice actors. So then they had like Roger Clark. Was it last year? Yeah, Nolan North's hosting. News about the Persona 4 remake being an actual thing. Oh, because they just released the Persona 2 remake recently. So yeah, that would make sense, I guess. Anyway, as I said, it's an excuse to talk with you guys and just kind of hang out. So hopefully we'll get some good details here. Oh, it was Persona 3. Okay, I thought it was Persona 2, but Persona 3. That's the one that just came out recently. I never got into the Persona franchise. With all these remakes coming out, I probably should give them a chance. I just heard that they're like extremely long and they're turn-based as well, which doesn't really appeal to me. I'm very iffy on turn-based games. There are some games where I like it, like the Like a Dragon franchise, and even some of some of the earlier Final Fantasy games, or like Lost Odyssey. Like those were great turn-based games that I really got into. And then there are other games like Octopath Traveler, which I really like the style of, but I couldn't really get into it. So it's a very hit or miss thing for me. Turn-based games. I think it really depends on the story and aesthetic of the game, and if there's more to it than just selecting from a menu and telling your character what to do. What games have I been playing recently? Going through my collection right now, I'm actually replaying Forza Motorsport 3. I just completed Need for Speed Shift as well as Wet. So in terms of my backlog, or my old 7th gen games that I'm kind of working my way through, I'm in I'm starting to approach the end of 2009 right now. After I do Forza 3, I'm going to do the last GTA 4 DLC, The Ballad of Gay Tony, and then after that, I'm going to do my replay of Uncharted 2 and also Tekken 6. And then we're getting into the holiday games, and I'm looking forward to playing Assassin's Creed 2 again and all those other games. So that's where I am right now in my my collection. I'm making great progress. So I'll probably finish up the 2009 releases in the next. I would think just before the E3 week, so think around May, which means that I'll only have 3 years left of the 7th generation before I complete my entire collection. Uh, so that's kind of interesting. It's been a lot of fun to go back and play all those games, especially doing them in release date order. You really kind of see how graphics and gameplay elements mature over the course of the generation. It's a really interesting perspective. Took you 90 hours to beat Persona 3. Damn. Oh, I love the Ballad of Gay Tony. Yeah, this isn't my first time playing it. I played it originally. It was a great, just my favorite DLC that Rockstar put out for GTA 4. I liked Lost and Damned. I thought it was good. I didn't care about the aesthetic, but it's a good story. But what was nice about the Ballad of Gay Tony is that they added so much more to the game. Like there was the nightlife element that they've added, but also new vehicles and weapons and stuff. Like it felt like a larger expansion than just here's more story. So I really enjoyed that. It's gonna be fun to go back and play. How would I rate Forza 3? Forza 3 is a very special game to me because it is technically my first Forza Motorsport game. I didn't have an original Xbox, and I got a 360 in 2008. 2008, I think. So I didn't know anything about the Forza Motorsport franchise for a long time, and I was a huge Gran Turismo dude. And then Gran Turismo kind of faltered on the PS3 with GT5, and I didn't even play GT6. But when I played Forza Motorsport 3, I was like, oh my god, this was incredible. Even though a lot of people I know think that, I guess the general opinion of Forza 3 is that it's more of a I guess a re-release of Forza 2 with better graphics and a different aesthetic and style, but it's basically the same core game. In any case, I really liked it, so it's a bit special to me in that regard, and I'm enjoying replaying it. It doesn't visually hold up as well as I remember it, but it's still a very vibrant and stylistically a very, very pretty looking game. Oh, The Sims, man. I really wish that they would make The Sims 5. I know that, for a while there, uh, they had said that if The Sims 4 wasn't a big success, it would be the end of the franchise. So and they've continued to like update The Sims 4 for what is it, 10 years now. It's like got a humongous amount of content and updates and support, and I know a lot of people still play it. So yeah, it'd be nice to get like a new Sims game, like a full-fledged, current generation new Sims game, brand new, with a new engine, maybe new mechanics, and just fully built from the ground up. That would be awesome. I have Baldur's Gate 3. I haven't played it though. It's still sealed. I've honestly, I thought about recently, like, oh, picking up current releases again, because I haven't played, like, I literally haven't played them for over a year at this point. Any like current released games. I've basically taken a break from doing that, and I focused a lot on playing older games, and that has brought me a lot of joy. But I haven't like felt compelled to kind of go back into current releases. I thought about, oh, maybe I should pick it up because the next game I have to play is Liza P, which I do think looks fantastic. Um, but yeah, I'm like so far behind. I think I'll probably pick it up sometime this year though, because I do need to, if I don't play any games released this year, then I'll be like 2 years, way behind. But I stopped, like I hit like a wall basically, after the release of Starfield and Mortal Kombat 1, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna focus on playing older games. And like I said, that's brought me a lot of joy. So that's what I've been doing. If you see me online on Xbox or PlayStation, actually, what I will say is this: on Xbox, I've been playing those 360 games, but on PlayStation, I've been playing the remake of Tomb Raider 1 through 3, or the remaster, I should say, not the remake. The remaster of Tomb Raider 1 through 3. That's been fun. They did a great job with those, especially because I never played the original PlayStation games. The remaster is just fantastic. So I just completed Tomb Raider 2. Now I need to do the DLC for Tomb Raider 2 and then start Tomb Raider 3. And then I think they did an expansion for Tomb Raider 3 as well. And then I'll complete that entire collection. And I'm hoping by the time that I finish those games, they'll release a physical version of Tomb Raider 4 through 6. And of course, I'm really hoping that they'll do a Tomb Raider like Legend remaster with Underworld and Anniversary, because those are the games that I grew up with personally. Yeah, EA could do a lot with The Sims. The censored version, the price. I'm just catching up on the comments. Sorry. Oh, you're playing Metal Gear Solid 3, the original, before the remake. That's interesting. Oh, Operation Flashpoint. Wow, I only played one of them and I didn't like it. Like I quit on it almost immediately. I think it was Red River. Operation Flashpoint Red River. I didn't care for it. It was too like I think it like lent too heavily on the simulation side of things that I just didn't find enjoyment in it. And it was like these open environments. I didn't care. I didn't care for it when I played it back when I remember. They haven't made a new game, have they? Like, when was the last Operation Flashpoint game? It must have been around like 2010, 2011. Yeah, I know about the Arma franchise. Oh, it's the same developers. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. No, Arma's huge. And I haven't played any of those games, but I'm very much aware of the IP. That makes sense though. I didn't actually realize that. So those same devs made the Arma franchise, so they're still going strong, because that's got a pretty hardcore fan base. That's good. There's a I'm actually really interested in getting back to PC gaming in the next couple years or so, because I know there's a lot of games that are on PC currently right now that I'd like to play that I can't, because there's no console version. Um, so, for example, like what's that game? The Iraq War simulator one that came out. It's like, I think it's a multiplayer only project right now, or a co-op project, but it's still early access. The one that was canceled in like 2005 or 2006, and then they brought it back a couple years ago. The title of it is illuminating me. No, you're talking about the Black Hawk Down stuff. That's from the expansion, the story expansion for that other multiplayer game. I'm talking about I can't remember the name of it. I got to go on Steam because I have it on Steam. Hold on. I'm literally about to look it up right now. Oh, I do have an Arma game on PC. If I can find it fast enough. I have to scroll through like 500 games. That's gonna bother me because it looked really good. This is loud. Let me know if this is too loud, by the way, guys. God, I can't find it. I can't find it. I know it's somewhere in this library, but I have so many games that I don't know what it's called. So anyway, they're supposed to be making a story mode for it, or they're working on it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
but
please welcome your hosts on
I miss like military shooters, because they basically don't exist anymore.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Future
Call of
Games
Duty's like the
Show
only one,
Showcase.
and it's Call of Duty.
My name is Jennifer English, though you probably know me best as God's favourite princess and the most interesting girl in the world, aka Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate 3. It's a pleasure to be here in this, how would you describe it?
ominous.
Ominous auditorium to get you all up to speed with the latest video game news, though, as you can see, I won't be braving this journey alone, as I'm joined by a man who needs no introduction.
Thank you, Jennifer. But alas, I'm going to subject you all to one anyway. Yes, it is I, Nolan North, the voice of Nathan Drake, Dr. Richtofen, and a bunch of other guys you've probably spent 30 or so hours with while sitting on your couch. If you haven't heard of me, it's because I recently took the substance, and now there's this British dude called Ben Starr who's running around taking all the jobs I used to get. He even hosted one of these shows, I think. I need to do something about that guy.
I love Nolan North. He's hilarious.
But that's a problem for another time, because over the next 90 minutes, we are laser focused on.
Yeah, no, I know about
introducing
Delta
a new
Force.
generation of
You can expect
Yeah, that's the one that
plenty
they
of
did the
gameplay
Black Hawk
trailers and
Down
a series of presentations
story. They
from
just
some of our
recently did that.
industry's
I think it's
most
free too,
developers.
which is
And
incredible.
there's also going to be some world premieres which will be
I think I
revealed
also
in
have
the
that on
launch
Steam,
stage.
but you know,
No harm in it.
I only have a Steam Deck, and I don't think my 980 Ti is gonna run it. I think I might run into some VRAM limitations
This is the
there.
next project from People Can Fly, the team behind Gears of War and Bulletstorm. Let's get into it, shall we?
Oh, here's some good stuff. I've been wondering what they've been up to recently. Didn't we hear about their new game before? People Can Fly? I could have swore we heard about this, and yes, now it's coming back to me. It looked like a Sea of Thieves type thing with better graphics. You know what's interesting about the Steam Deck? There was that telemetry that came out that, you know, the console's only sold like 3.5 million units or so, or 4 million units, which is good, but you know, you really expected more. And I was thinking about it, I'm like, oh, Steam Deck really can't compete on that mass scale level because you need to buy it directly from Valve. You know, they don't have Steam Decks in stores. You can't go on Amazon and buy yourself a Steam Deck. You have to order it directly from Valve.
Okay, now we're cooking. That was your first look at Lost
It's
Rift,
it's
which is coming
interesting.
to Steam Early Access
I
later
think
this year.
that's
But you can
inadvertently
right now enjoy Lost Rift.
caused a slower adoption of the, you know, the platform.
Something to say about this
Even though it's great hardware, and it's probably
This
the most
one is
streamlined
quite
hardware
special to
for
me.
portable
We've
PCs
got
that you can
a new
buy.
trailer for Claire Obscure Expedition 33, and it's all about the character I'm playing in the game, which is now on this giant screen.
Oh, I didn't
behind me.
realize that she's in
I
this.
cannot wait for you all to hear how her story unfolds, but for now, here's an introduction to
Speaking
your
of
new favorite
turn-based
character
games,
in
this
video
looks
games
really good.
ever, Maya.
This game looks really interesting because it's not just,
Lumia's not my home.
you know, straight turn-based stuff. There's actually some
Having second thoughts about the expedition.
split-second decisions you have to make.
Please. More ready to go than you are.
The rest of us only have a year left, but you've got 9 good years before your gommage. You don't need to leave yet.
1 year out there is better than 9 years in here.
The dance begins. En garde. Precise strike. Finesse and grace.
You see, the combat of this, it's like, even though it's a turn-based core, there's more to it. I really like that sort of style that they went for. Although I must comment about the image quality of all of their trailers. I don't know what it is,
Love to see it.
but
That
whenever
was
you
close to
see
look at
gameplay
Jen's
of this
character,
game, it
Mael.
looks like it's running at
Claire
like
Obscure
720p with a
It's
really
coming
bad
to PC,
upscale.
PlayStation,
All I
and
see is like
Xbox on
aliasing and
April
breakup
24th.
everywhere.
Go
And
down.
I'm really curious to
You
see
can
how this game is
get
going
a
to
chance
look
check
on
it
a
out
base
and go
PS5
down
and
the
Series X.
hard pivot away from the
Because like resolution-wise, the
We've got
trailers and
X-Ray
all the
from the
screenshots
War
look
Maestro,
extremely
award-winning
like low.
Stasis series.
I don't know if it's
Here's
just
a
the
closer look
upscaling
at
algorithm
animal
they're
use.
using or what, but I just noticed a lot of pixel breakup in their trailers.
This place not right.
You say that about every place.
With insistence. Wrong. Smell wrong. Smell
What the hell is this?
Say to
with
me,
urgency. Move. Now under. High.
okay, if this
With
isn't
growing
evidence,
impatience.
Planet of the Apes.
Quiet.
This looks good. Got some Half-Life 2 puzzle solving.
you're sure this is the right way.
With indignation. Pathfinding. Very good. Better than smelly cake. Better than run.
Oh.
Paralyzed terror.
Oh, this looks good. I like this. This is reminding me of Soma. Oh god. Dude, that's like Soma, but like this interesting twist that you're playing intelligent animals. This looks really good. Use Animal Protocol?
Animal Use Protocol.
Animal
is
Use
coming
Protocol,
soon to
okay.
PC, so stick it on your wish lists if you want to see more.
That
of
looks
this
really good.
Tamagotchi rap.
Yeah, it's like a bit of Alien Isolation. You get some Half-Life puzzle solving, and then you get like these environments that look like Soma.
And thankfully,
I like that.
for those of us who want to catch up, there's a remaster of Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny on the horizon.
Here's an inside look from the game's developers with a focus on Hell Mode, a brand new one-hit kill difficulty setting for the masochists among us.
We knew this was coming already. What's interesting about this remaster is that they kept the same like aesthetic of the PS2 version. Like it still very much looks like a game of that era.
The name says it's all, really. Hell is an extremely hard difficulty mode.
which I think is going to go over well with a lot of, you know, fans who are looking forward to playing this game.
So it's not for the faint of heart. I haven't been able to complete it myself yet. But some members of the staff have been able to pull it off. So I hope everyone tries it out to see if they can get through.
Never played this. Is this like Ninja Gaiden? I haven't played,
The original,
I only remember playing
the first
one
time I was in
Onimusha
charge
game.
of
I
the
don't know what it
production.
is.
So it has a
It's
special
similar
place in my
to Ninja Gaiden, and it's like hack and slash combat. It's a little bit more,
Apart from the fact that the graphics are more high definition,
from what I recall, it
also
kind of
include
lends
full
itself
real-life
into
movements to make it more fun to
more
play.
mythology. Like Ninja Gaiden has a lot of demons,
This is a
you
great
know,
time
and
to
stuff like
start.
that. This is a bit more spiritual
Especially
in
since the first
design.
game is available too.
Yeah, I don't remember
love
much of
everyone's
it. I would like to
experience in the
replay
world
these
of
games
Onimusha and
as I'm
explore
building my
everything
6th gen
inside.
collection. They're definitely on
So I
my
look
list.
forward to your support.
But yeah, I can't remember which one it was. I only played one of them, and I don't think I think it was at a friend's house. I don't even think I owned
remaster
it.
of Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny is coming to PC and consoles on May 23rd, later this year.
Don't miss it. Our next game is Nitro Gen Omega, a turn-based tactical RPG, ooh, my favorite, where you control a mech full of mercenaries. Let's take a look.
What PS2 game do I want to play the most? Oh, wow. I would say this might surprise some people, but I'm really looking forward to replaying the Matrix games from the 6th generation. Those were good games. That did more with the IP than just a straight up, you know, here's a movie tie-in game. It's a shame because I think a Matrix game could really do well these days, especially with the technology that we have and like the advancements in gameplay stuff. Like, I think, you know, just the Matrix demo that they had on PS5 and Series X, that Unreal Engine 5 demo, shows that there's an interest there. But you could imagine like a full-fledged open world type, you know, Matrix game where you have like this hub or this mission planning elements where you're like on the ship or whatever the case may be. It's a unique story, different characters and all that stuff. You get to go to freaking Zion, and then you can jack into the Matrix, and you know, you have third person shooting and combat and all this really cool stuff. I think it could do really, really well today. Like, to take someone who like takes that IP and like an original story with new characters and just does something really incredible. Yeah, one could hope, I guess. Isn't it Warner Brothers that owns the IP? So they're not really doing well right now. They're on everyone's shit list after the closure of Monolith.
Remake of the end of the greatest RPG of all time is a faithful recreation of
That
the
just
last hour
pisses me
of
off,
everyone's
man.
favorite RPG.
Such
You
a
know,
talented
that one we
team,
all
and then you find out that they have a complete you know, copyright lock on the Nemesis system. You know, that that was used in Middle Earth. Like, no one else could use that,
Remembering the greatest RPG of
use
all
those
time,
gameplay systems
that's okay.
whatsoever until like the
This remake
2035
includes the original
or
game's
something
manual,
like that. It's just stupid.
Director's commentary,
And the game's director had to translate this part of the game entirely by hand using a Japanese to English dictionary.
and even clips of an unreleased documentary.
I never loved anything that much, and the only way we're gonna get that again is by staying exactly faithful to what that original game was.
If you didn't know what the greatest RPG of all time was, I suppose it would turn this into a deduction puzzle game where you'd have to use these bonus features, deductive reasoning, and a little bit of creative thinking to figure out how to complete the last hour of this epic RPG.
I like that there's depth to the environment.
Be for real.
They did a good job at that. What is the greatest RPG of all time? It's the
We're
lingering
still hard at work
question.
on this recreation of this all-time classic, but we hope you'll relive a little bit of the magic when we launch the demo for the remake of the end of the greatest RPG of all time on April 25th, 2025.
I love that. I love that that's the title. That's awesome. It's such a broad term because there are people who would consider JRPGs and then, you know, different from the Western RPGs and like, what is the greatest RPG? Objectively, could you even answer that?
With a demo launching on April the 25th.
I love games when they blend real life scenes and acting into the game, like what Alan Wake did. Oh yeah, totally. Well, that's interesting because you could unlock, I guess, developer diaries and different things. It's a cool way of putting extra content into game.
No, it's actually... Never mind, just roll the trailer.
Those monsters only exist in your head, they said. Great material for your art. I actually believed them. Until that night. Feels like I've walked straight into one of my nightmares.
Whatever happened to that game Little Devil Inside? I don't know why that just popped into my head, but that looked really good. I think it was shown like, what was it, like 4 or 5 years ago at this point? At one of the PlayStation showcases, and then it's just like MIA. I don't know what happens to these games, man.
But in the meantime, put it on your wish list.
Did I hear about the remakes of Max Payne? Yes, I'm actually really excited for that. I think they're doing Max Payne 1 and 2. And I'm interested to see if they're going to do a combo release where they release like Max Payne 1 and 2 remake as one game, like one bundle, or are they going to release them separately? But I heard they're doing 2 of them. And then that would be really awesome. So if they're going to just release, you know, 2 of the games in one bundle, in my opinion, just release a remastered version of Max Payne 3. You know, get someone, you don't even need to do anything to the game. Just put 4K resolution, 60 frames per second, and then people would love it. Because that game still holds up really well today. So, yeah. I know they kind of ended it with Max Payne 3, the story, you know, and the character. I just miss those styles of games, but I think it's great that we're getting the remake, especially for 1 and 2. I played the originals, and they do still hold up. 2 especially plays really, really well. But it'd be great to have like upgraded visuals, so you could just imagine what they could do with the environments and all the density of the, I guess, the physics and stuff like that in the world. It would just be fantastic. But they should remaster Max Payne 3 as well if they're going to release 1 and 2 as a single game. Little Devil Inside had an update 6 months ago. Okay. I mean, I guess it's still ongoing then. I would never have thought that a game of that... it looked large, and it looked like, you know, a very ambitious project. I wonder if the team is just really, really small. Because I just wouldn't imagine that we'd be sitting here, you know, waiting 4 or 5 plus years for the game. You know, and just wondering where the hell it is. Is there another game that has the style of gameplay Max Payne 3? Oh, there is another game. It's an instant buy. Yeah, they don't really make those anymore. You used to have like games like Stranglehold and like I just replayed Wet. You know, that's another one that kind of combines Max Payne aesthetics and sort of parkour or free-running action gameplay. They don't make that really much anymore. It's a shame. All we see is like hack and slash games, really. The new interesting gameplay concepts come from, you know, AA indie games. But it seems the AAA market is just obsessed with Souls-like or hack and slash, you know, Devil May Cry wannabe type games, which is fine. You know, I think that the worlds and the there's not as much of, I guess, games trying to emulate other games in terms of worlds. Like we used to see that a lot with shooters and you know, other games from the past where like people always wanted to have like a Gears of War aesthetic, you know, like that was a huge popular style and sort of world depiction back then. But now it's basically like, yeah, it's another hack and slash, you know, action combat game, and I like those, but I wish that the industry, at least the AAA, you know, industry, didn't move in waves where they just kind of choose what's popular. They give you a bunch of the same ish titles, you know, that kind of target the same style of gameplay. I wish that we had more balance when it came to, no, here's a military shooter, or here's a really, you know, unique creative third-person game. You know, here's your Uncharted style games, and then here's your Devil May Cry games. There just doesn't seem to be a lot of variety there on the AAA market. Neostream Interactive are the people behind Little Devil Inside. Apparently they went through layoffs in 2021. Okay, I didn't even hear about that. You first watched my channel in February 2014. Wow. God, that's over 10 years ago at this point. That's nuts. And that was 5 years after, no, that was 6 years. A little more than 5 years after I started the channel. Wow. They're already a small-based studio. Yeah, so I would guess it's just a very, they must have like a skeleton crew working on the game. And then there was also that other game that died / came back. They mentioned Alien Isolation. Now I'm paying attention. This is this the dinosaur Jurassic Park survival game that's coming out, or is this something else? No, this is something else. But there's dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs. Already, I'm interested. We need Dino Crisis. We need Turok. I know Turok technically is coming back. In the form of a multiplayer third-person game, but I want a first-person action horror game in the style of Turok. And look, they actually got accurate-looking raptors. They got actual, you know, accurate-looking raptors with the fur and all that stuff. That's cool. Yeah, you're gonna outrun that T-Rex. Actually, I think there was some study recently that showed that you actually could. That T-Rexes were notoriously slow. Now that I think about it. This looks really good, by the way. Nolan's hilarious.
Deathground is coming to PC later this year, so make sure it's on your wish list.
The first video you saw me was the Mirror's Edge 2 reveal. Oh, you're talking about... So, that's still the video I had pinned on my channel.
Every show, we pull
I miss those days, man.
Games that we consider
that was fun.
Ones to watch
that was fun. The whole lead up, the whole excitement. Everyone was so optimistic. Good times.
Anachronistic Siege Simulator.
Yeah, that was 2013.
Anachronistic Siege Simulator. Congratulations, I think I've sprained my tongue.
Oh, wow.
Hello, I'm Ian Fish from Redemption Road Games, makers of Road Redemption and the upcoming King.
Oh, that's hilarious. You're like the only one with a gun on this
In Kingmakers,
battlefield.
You travel back to the year 1401
Cars.
to help the real-life Welsh rebel Owain Glendower conquer England. In reality, his Welsh rebellion was
Yeah, you're gonna need that new 9950X X3D to run this game with all this AI.
Made up of thousands of soldiers, and everything in
It's gonna hammer the CPU.
Thousands of soldiers are all simulated. Furthermore, all buildings are fully navigated.
You can't wait for this game? You time travel back with modern weapons that help with medieval fights? That's fantastic.
Thousands of soldiers can navigate complex multi-story castles with the same level of pathfinding.
Dude, look at all these people.
Expect from a modern first-person shooter. Originally, we thought Kingmakers was going to be a cool simulation of what it would be like to go back in time with modern weapons. Would you be able to defeat a medieval army with an AK-47?
So it's just so it's just you against like a whole battalion, an army of medieval soldiers, and you have modern weapons, you have trucks and dirt bikes, tasers.
Furthermore, we realized that a game with this scope, the player would want to be able to command his armies and fortify his own outposts, so it kind of grew for there. It's now something completely unique.
RPGs?
With real-time strategy elements that rival Age of Empires,
wow,
and shooting gameplay that rivals Helldivers and Space Marine. Today we're excited to share a little bit more about the destruction aspect of the game.
Oh, this is gonna do well. But you just drive through structures. Yes. Oh, that's awesome. This is cool. This is just ridiculously like stupid. There's tanks. What more could you want?
And none of the destruction is scripted either. It's all dynamic, courtesy of Unreal 4's fast physics calculations.
Tyler, you better get that new $700 AMD CPU. I'm curious how they're gonna optimize this. The 9950X 3D that just came out. That's insane. It's 2 FPS on a 5090, as Jacob just said. That's fantastic. If it supports physics, yeah.
Either on their own side of the map or alongside you. We really wanted to make sure that all four.
Man, they better add the physics back in the 60 series. Because that really irritates me as someone that, you know, likes to replay those games. That's always been like one of the best things. NVIDIA physics, especially in those older titles, it makes a huge difference.
Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of the show.
Dude, that looks ridiculously just nuts and fun.
To the Team Redemption Road for that closer look at Kingmakers, a game which isn't
Yeah, it crashes instantly.
but already has a live-action movie in it.
I'm already on the phone.
Wait, there's a movie?
Play the pickup truck, of course. Anyway, I think it's time for another word here. So grab your friends, your VR headsets, and your mobile phones for some reason. Don't worry, it'll make sense soon.
At Elsewhere Electric, we believe in power. The power to shape the future. Our state-of-the-art facility is the heart of that future. And we need you to keep it running. You and a capable partner, that is.
I'll open up the van. Get juiced up.
Okay, I think I'm ready. Let's get in there. I see some symbols. A jellyfish.
Anyone here have yeah, no, it's a VR title. I was gonna ask if anyone here has VR. And if so, what headset do you own?
Electric relies on teamwork. Precision.
VR was one of those things that I tried out at all the events, and I was like, oh, this is so awesome. And then, like, when the time came to buy one, I just never got into it. I think I've always been concerned about, like, the space. The space required. I have, like, I guess there's decent space in here, but I'm always worried I'm gonna hit something. I know some people just play sitting down. You know, you could do that, but I almost feel like I need to have like a large room dedicated to just VR. You have a VR headset, Tynal? Tregan has PSVR. You have a Quest 2 and 3, and a Valve Index. Oh wow! So you're like really invested. I have to say, there's only been like a handful of games like I've been really like like, oh, this would be like really awesome to have a VR headset
where
for.
players work together to explore an abandoned facility. Don't try that at home. I'm pretty sure it's illegal. It's
But yeah, I'm
coming to
always
VR,
concerned about
iOS,
space
and
requirements.
All right, this next one's for all you impudent insects out there. If you haven't heard, the cult classic immersive sim System Shock 2 is getting a definitive remaster from Night Dive.
Oh, it's a remaster, or wait, is this? Are they doing it like they did with the first System Shock, like a remake? They said remaster, but that screenshot looked different. Okay. Yeah, this is more like a remaster then. Man, that'd be awesome. I wonder if they ever will remake System Shock 2 and do it like they did with the first one. I know that was a huge undertaking for them, but they did such a great job with that. Eh, I mean, it still looks good for what it is. They rounded off a lot of the edges. Okay. It's like the same, you know, basic simplicity of the environments. Textures have been improved. Edges have been rounded off. Yeah. It's a good effort. I would just like to see a full remake like they did with the first System Shock. Oh, Drive Club, yeah. Man, that was a good game that they closed the studio down for as well. I really like Drive Club. Never got into System Shock, only played the enhanced version of the first game. I owned the remake, or I own it on PS5. I have not played it, but I played the demo for it like a year or two ago. I think I recorded it on the channel. And it was really compelling. And then when the remake came out, it got all his attention and people loved it. So, but Night Dive has been sitting here, honestly, bringing back so many classics. Didn't they just do The Thing remastered as well? Like, their output is insane. They're taking all these old games and they're remastering them or just, you know, creating really solid ports on all these consoles. And what's nice as well is that any games, some of these games were like disappeared from storefronts, you know, so they brought them back so you can actually play them again. And they've done just enough so that you get a really good presentation with really good controls, but it still retains the heart and soul of the original game.
To awaken that emotion, a warm feeling.
They seem to be in a league of their own almost, Night Dive Studios, like unaffected by all the BS going on in the industry.
Waiting to conquer the world.
They do a lot very
Games
quickly.
Are part of you, us. They're a part of culture, part of what makes us human.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, Simpsons Hit and Run. I didn't even think about that.
And innovations behind them risk being lost forever. How can we ensure everyone can play games today, tomorrow, and for years to come? Devs share the source codes, artwork, and even collectibles that you own with museums so they don't get lost. Gamers, play these games and talk about them. Make them live forever. Vote and share your gaming stories on GOG Dreamlist to help bring more games to the GOG Preservation Program. Games within the program are maintained by us and guaranteed to always work on modern computers. We've already future-proofed
This is great.
more than 100 titles. Today, we are happy to say that the GOG Preservation Program is expanding with even more titles. You can play all of them right now on GOG.com. Let's take a look at the new arrivals.
This is fantastic. I just read something recently about disc rot, that they gave you a lifespan, like a range of lifespan for different media. DVDs will actually be around the longest. They say they last 50 to 100 years for DVDs. So that's think of it, 6th-gen games, Xbox 360 games and such. Blu-rays, they give an estimate of lasting anywhere from 20 to 30 years, which is interesting. I would imagine that also counts for 4K Blu-rays as well, so modern games released. And then CDs, I believe, are somewhere in between the two. But it's interesting when it puts it into perspective because, you know, the whole thing about having disc-based media is that it's not reliant on a server, and everybody's, you know, all about preservation in that aspect. But, you know, no one really talks about the fact that disc rot is a real thing. And from what I understand, yeah, there are things you can do. Obviously, you keep it in a clean environment that's not, you know, with extreme temperatures. There's stuff you can do to make it last longer, but apparently it's still unstoppable, no matter what happens, which is really unfortunate. I guess it's one of the things like I started thinking about personally regarding my collection. At least when it comes to the games that I have, I went through all of my games and I kind of made a list of which ones I have digital copies for on PC through Steam or various different other storefronts. And the vast majority of them I actually do. I can get rid of basically all, you know, the majority of my collection. With disc, and I have backups, or I have digital copies of those on PC specifically. So, but it is a curious thing. I wonder. I have not run into it personally, but I do wonder, you know, how long I guess my discs are gonna last. I guess it's important why you should play your games and not just keep them sitting down, you know, on a shelf somewhere, being unused. So we're about to get the first disc rot PS3 games. I mean, I guess if depending on if you consider that you know chart that they put out, yeah, they said 20 to 30 years. So the oldest PS3 game I have, and I have had since I was a kid, ever since I got my PS3, was Uncharted Drake's Fortune. That copy I have right now in my closet is the same copy I've had since I was a kid, and I got it for Christmas in 2007. So I've never got rid of that game whatsoever, and I've taken like there's no marks or anything like that on the disc. So it'll be interesting. I'll keep an eye on that one specifically, because I know at least going back from my childhood, it's probably the oldest game that I have. I have some N64 cartridges, but those are cartridges. It's completely different. And in terms of PS1 games, I have no idea where my childhood PS1 games are. I know my folks have a storage bin, or it's like a storage trailer with all this stuff in it. I should probably ask them to spend maybe a day or two looking over some stuff, because I bet I could find a lot of my old stuff in that trailer. But at least the games I have here with me, yeah. The only game I have sealed from a long time ago is GTA Vice City. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I guess, I mean, it's in an airtight space, right, the seal, so it'd be interesting to see how long that... Well, that's a DVD as well, so you should be fine for your entire life when it comes to that. Yeah, it's definitely use it or lose it. Deceptive. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I made everyone sad because Uncharted was going to be 20. I can't believe that. That makes me sad. I don't look at those games as old anymore, but I realize that a lot of kids today look at those games the same way that I looked at PS1 games, you know, back when those games were new. Like, to them, it's like it's the same time difference. So they look at literally 7th gen games the same way I looked at 5th gen games, the PS1 and N64. Like, oh, that's old.
Okay, it's okay. I'm sorry. That just took so long. It's really way up there.
You have Tekken for PS1? Yeah.
Do not do it. Okay. What's next?
It's interesting. I didn't really know that Blu-rays were gonna have a shorter lifespan in terms of media. I should probably do a gameplay discussion on that. I wonder if anyone has run into it though. Oh, that stuff looked fantastic. All the new things that they were trying out with like the first Uncharted and you know those early like PS3 demos and stuff. And like he had a different shirt on. They had like this cool hand-to-hand combat system. They had like dynamic camera angles. All this stuff that they showed early on that actually never made it into the fully released game. The original game is, or the fully released game is still very close. But you know, they've talked about it since, and they had a lot of trouble behind the scenes trying to code games on the PS3. It's such a shame because I think with how easy it was to make games for 360 and just how much more I guess how much better like the third-party stuff looked on that system. It's interesting because I think the PS3 as a platform, as an everyday system, has aged so much better than game systems from that era. Like when you put the PS3 like on a shelf, it still looks modern and the UI still looks really good. Like it's aged phenomenally, more so than the 360 or even the Wii. I think it's going to age better than like the PS4 or the or even the PS5 currently right now. It's a system that honestly, it's like, yeah, you could play games, but there was all this other stuff you could do with it, and it's still, you can still do things that even the PS5 can't. The media server capabilities of that system alone, it's so simple. All you have to do is just set it up on your computer and you can just transfer files, pictures, videos, whatever you want through the network. Just like instantly. And if you remember,
is a sandbox RPG round.
Remember all like the folding at home stuff they had back in the day?
Play solo or co-op.
I was going to do a video on my favorite console of all time. Hint, it's the PS3. So that might be something that you can expect in the next couple of months or so. I'll talk about it all in length there. But even though it's Sony's worst system, it's Sony's worst system. I think as a technological device, it was so far ahead of its time that it's just aged so much better than, you know, any of the systems you can use today.
To establish a new genre that blends the emergent fun of sandbox games.
Yes, like just media formats alone. Like Trega mentioned, you could play CDs. You could play like freaking. There's all this like random stuff you could put in it. And the old models had those memory card readers. Like, it's like just absolutely ridiculous.
Your friends and your NPC followers must work together to complete jobs around the village. Differentiated species, together with our procedural storytelling, combine to make each player's story in Hawthorne a unique and enjoyable experience.
We're a small team of experienced developers bringing Hawthorne to life as a true passion project. This game is currently
Only got an old
self-funded
PC DVDs, everything else is Steam. I raised my piece with it, but the future looks weird for gaming. I'm catching up on comments. I still have a couple PC DVDs as well. Yeah, it's there's no guarantees. That's the problem. There's no guarantees right now with anything. We're in such a gray area. I think I spoke about this in one of my prior gameplay discussions, but there needs to be something at the federal level. You know, it's the only way to like force these companies out. The problem is that there's so much money in politics. It doesn't matter what country you are in. You know, that it's just the corporations are running everything behind the scenes, so like they don't care. They would so gladly like to charge you for the same game you already paid for again. And I think subscriptions are just, they're going to take over everything.
Yeah, when did Uncharted come out again?
2007.
2007.
Yeah.
Definitely still in school.
At least you were born. Okay, let's watch
You know what's sad is that's true. That's how I feel now. Because I was in school, just like hers. It's like, at least you were bored. Nolan just aged me. That makes me feel so sad. Look, this looks good. What the hell is this? I love the, they have like this chromatic aberration. I hate chromatic aberration, but it looks good here. Like a video. They have like lens distortion, like it's being shot through a camcorder or something.
Grab my hand. Thanks. Marlene, I need to find a way home.
I'm just as stranded as you.
God damn it.
But there is a sender at headquarters.
Good music.
I can show you the way if you help me arrive there in one piece.
Deal.
Oh, wow.
Nora, what was Atlas made for in the first place? Before it became this?
It was a sorting algorithm.
Speaking of Half-Life, this looks like...
Space layer for data.
This looks so Half-Life.
I mean, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dimensions.
I guess it didn't stay that way.
Oh, it's Industria? Seriously? I had no idea.
Defy an insatiable artificial intelligence.
I've seen the first game, but it looks like nothing like that. Does it get like really weird and kind of crazy later on? Has anyone here played it? Because that looks really good. Like, I want to play that. That looks phenomenal. Wow. I don't remember the first game looking like that, though. I've heard of it. I've seen some footage here and there, but I don't recall anything nearly as science fiction oriented as that. Yeah, it straight up looked like, you know, they took the town from Half-Life. Half-Life 2. See some buffering? No, we're fine. Never played it? Okay. I have to give that one a shot. When does that come out? No release date. I'm gonna add it to my wish list. I want to look at the first one, though. The first game is $3 right now on Steam through the spring sale. Yeah, I'm looking at the first game, and it's more kind of naturalistic environments. It looks like 1960s. There's some kind of robotic characters here and there, but it doesn't look anything like that. That's nuts.
All right, ready up for our second.
All right, I'm gonna take a look at that later because I might play the first game. It's on Steam for $3. I might play it on the deck if it runs well. Yeah, I have to say that's a good approach as well, Tyler. I remember because I watched, you know, the showcase last year during the Summer Games Fest, and I remember I was like suffering watching the PC gaming show, and I was really happy with the Future Games showcase presentation. It's just straight to the point. You got a couple of funny banters here and there between the cast, the actors and stuff, but most of the time it's just, hey, here's the straight games. It's nice. And they're not like super long trailers either. By the way, this looks good. I am a bit disappointed. I'm a bit disappointed in South of Midnight that it's not getting a physical release and it's only $40, which tells me it's a much smaller game than I think well, many of us anticipated. This is from the guys who did We Happy Few, which I didn't really care for. It was We Happy Few was a really interesting game that had a great like style and stuff going for it, but it was a hardcore survival game. I remember I played it at E3, and I think I even covered it in the video back then too. But I was like, I was slightly disappointed it wasn't like a BioShock clone or some type of game similar to that, where it's more like not action oriented, but maybe like
So after you meet Catfish, you are
I guess a
sent
bit more
to
automated
heal
in terms of
Benji,
you don't have to feed
and
yourself, you don't have to get
he
water, you don't
lives
have to
in this
sleep.
remote
There's no stamina bar, any
Cajun
of that stuff.
community that has been
It wasn't a
abandoned
game that I
for
could really get into.
many
But this looks really
years,
good.
and as you explore that region, you
This looks like an
understand
action exploration
why it's
game.
been abandoned, what happened to Benji, why he became that tree, and what his connection.
I like the
to
style that they went for.
Rhubarb, this sort of eccentric, off the grid character that you meet.
Are we excited for
early on.
Doom: The Dark
You kind of get
Ages?
to know what
Yes,
their relationship
absolutely.
is and what happened
Especially after that Microsoft showcase, it looks like they really added a lot in terms of
We've also
the main campaign mode and exploration. I think it looks fantastic.
wanted to make sure we had a special
Mostly for the
song
music.
each of our main creatures you meet in the region, and that song tells a story, and you learn about
You
the
get
characters
moderator
and the backstory
status.
through that song.
Oh. Wait, who gets moderator status? Does anyone want moderator status? Here. I'll give Trega moderator status.
So the music is
And
kind of done in parcels. You'll get part of a story, so you'll get a few
Silver.
lines.
I'm just gonna call you Silver.
maybe 2, 3, 4
It's in
times throughout each
parentheses.
zone.
Okay, so
And they
Silver
tell a
and
little bit more of
Trigam
the
now have
story.
moderator status.
And then when you unlock most of the context,
Congratulations.
you'll have a
Everyone
final,
gets a wrench.
boss fight or an encounter with the creature, and during that final encounter,
Oh, it's an
like,
Oprah joke. Okay, that didn't like. that didn't connect. I'm sorry.
South of Midnight launches on Xbox Series
All right, well,
X and S, PC, and
Jeremy,
it's also gonna be
thank
day
you
one
for,
on Game Pass on April 8th. And in the meantime,
for
feel free
advocating
to
for
shout
these
us out on
2 new
social
members
media,
of the
tell your
moderators.
friends, pre-order, wish list, really get the word out there.
Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of the show.
South of Midnight is coming to PC and Xbox on the 8th of April. And
No, it's fine. There's no responsibilities with the moderators. It's just for fun. It's just a little thing. That's all. That's the joke of it, is that I don't know what to do with the moderators because you know, it's not like I live stream very often, and I'm very good. I think I've done a decent job at least of cultivating a community that no one's, you know, being a jerk here or being rude. So to me, it's like, all right, just, you know, let's just chill out and have a good time. I'll just give you moderator status for the hell of it. So you get a cool wrench, you get a little recognition, and there's no responsibilities. What the hell is this? It looks like Stalker. What is this? This looks really good. I don't know. Yeah, I was thinking to myself, like, it's a little, there's some Atomic Heart in here. I think with the way some of the robots are designed. But it reminds me of Metro. Fast-paced first-person shooting action.
But here everything is strange. Our informant is weird. Our enemies are weird. The same goes for you too.
You're weird. Pioneer, huh?
That was gameplay for the incredible-looking Pioneer, which is coming to PC.
That looks fantastic.
What have we got?
That looks really good.
Well, we're taking a trip to 19th century Brazil.
This showcase is honestly giving me some hope. There's actually some first-person shooters. There's some variety of games in here. I'm gonna have to look into that as well. I wonder if that's coming to console. Pioneer. It's an open world shooter MMO. Oh, is it multiplayer only or is there a single player element? It offers PvE missions and intense PvP zones. Well, Steam has it listed as single player. I'll add it to my list again. Don't care for MMO-based gameplay, but if you can kind of do whatever you want or do your own thing while around a multiplayer environment, I guess I could deal with that. It's a new IP. Am I planning on picking up AC Shadows? Yes, at some points. It's definitely on my list to play. I've saw the reviews. I saw the Digital Foundry review of the tech stuff, and all it looks fantastic. So, yeah, I know it's a make or break game for Ubisoft. If Shadows doesn't do well, then the studio is in a lot of trouble. Ubisoft specifically. Honestly, they did it to themselves. It's like everyone was sitting here complaining for many years. Your games feel the same. All your IPs feel the same. And they're just like, it's fine. And it's like, what do you think's gonna happen? All your games look the same. There's nothing differentiating them anymore. I'm only annoyed that we still have no details, and at this point it looks like it's stuck in limbo for the Splinter Cell remake. Because I was so happy when they announced that, like, oh, okay, it's not a new game, but Splinter Cell at least is coming back. And we are still sitting, like, there's been, like, no details whatsoever. They keep glossing over it during the Summer Games Fest events. It's annoying, man. But, like, I can't feel bad for Ubisoft, because literally for the last 10 years, people have been saying, you've been doing this to yourself, and it's true. They haven't been differentiating their IPs. They've been literally making the same copy-paste formula and then taking elements from their other games and putting it into other franchises, so it's like all the games feel the same. Oh yeah, Beyond Good and Evil 2, completely absent. Has no idea what's going on with that. Especially, they reintroduced, the funny part is they reintroduced that, didn't they? They reintroduced Beyond Good and Evil 2 after like years of being in development hell. They're like, hey, we're restarting it. We got a new team. We've got a dedicated, concept here. We're full scale ahead with this project, and then nothing. So it's just one of those annoying things. Hey, here's something for us Mirror's Edge fans. It's a fun house, but it's parkour challenges. Shadows is pretty good after 3 hours. Okay, so it takes some time to get into it. Shadows gameplay looks alright. We can ignore the politics. Duran was always talked about. Yeah, I could give two shits. To me, it's like, I always have to... These days, in order to have fun, you have to separate the art from the artist. You just have to. And at the end of the day, a good game is a good game. So, like, I just prefer to live in a bubble these days. It's the only way to just be happy and just to enjoy things like I used to. You just gotta live in a bubble. There's no new Rayman. Yeah, Beyond Good and Evil 2. Yeah, I remember that gameplay. They showed you like taking off from a planet and like flying down into a planet in real time, having the levels load and all that stuff. It's just... And that was like before the current generation was even announced. So you saw that and you were just like, what the fuck? It just looked insane. But yeah, it's just absent. It's gone. Yeah, Mirror's Edge is not. Mirror's Edge is going to skip this entire generation, and I wouldn't even expect anything until the end of the next generation. EA, like, DICE in general has fallen so far off the deep end. I mean, they gotta climb themselves out of the hole and then swim all the way back up to the top before we even have a chance of seeing another Mirror's Edge game. I mean, all of their franchises had just failed. Battlefield's failed, the Battlefront franchise has failed, and Mirror's Edge just... I'm reluctant to say failed, but it just... it's annoying. It's just annoying, but like that's been their main issues. They've had all of their franchises just completely miss the mark in some way or another, or a few. They've just completely missed the mark. So they just we need some help over there. I'm happy Vince Zampella moved over to DICE. I think that he's going to do a lot of good stuff for Battlefield. And I'm hoping that with his direction, his influence could be had on the future games there as well. Honestly, I say give Mirror's Edge to Motive, EA Motive. Why does it have to be freaking DICE? You can still keep it within the EA ecosystem. DICE doesn't seem to care about anything but their pedigree Battlefield games. Give it to Motive. They did a great job with the Dead Space remake. Right now they're a support studio, I believe. Why not give them Mirror's Edge? And if they want a smaller project, have them remake the first Mirror's Edge. It doesn't need it, but they could do a phenomenal job if they add to the game and completely build it up from the ground up with, Frostbite, I guess. I mean, I'll take a remake. I'll take anything I could get at this point. Yeah. No, EA absolutely did shit on DICE. And they shit on a lot of their studios, too. There's no reason Motive should have just been given the shaft after the Dead Space remake. Like, Dead Space 2 remake should have been greenlit immediately. It's the best... The best game that EA has put out in recent memory, or the most polished, or whatever you want to say, it was a remake of their older game. I like Jedi Survivor a lot, but Jedi Survivor had a lot of problems, like quality-wise. But it was still a great game when it came down to it. I'm ignoring this, and it looks really good. I'm sorry.
Find you wherever you are.
It's like an expedition type game. I'll get back to the comments in a bit. I'm sorry. This looks really interesting. Will follow the light. Interesting. So you're on the search for someone who's gone missing, I guess, and there's realistic boat physics. You got to like ride it through the riffraff. That actually looks really good.
Post-Ragnarok survival game. Okay, here's the developers of Noodle Cat Games to give us the insights.
Yeah, they shut down the Alive for Catalyst that did nothing. Like, to me, it's like, why even bother, doing that? Because I can't imagine them it cost that much. It was just, petty. It was just such a petty move.
Hi, I'm Billy Quick from Noodlecat Games, and today we'll be exploring some of the combat in Cloud High.
Skate 4, oh, I have, after hearing they're doing the whole, service, live service game thing for Skate, the new Skate game, I've just lost interest. I know there's been play tests and stuff like that, but I just haven't looked up anything. To me, in my mind, it's like it doesn't exist. Like I want a traditional Skate back, like Skate 2. I wanted that style of game back. But it seems to me they're doing the live service thing, so I don't know how I feel about that. Personally, I'm more excited for Tony Hawk 3 and 4. which I'm happy they're doing. Slightly annoyed that they've changed the direction of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, although I've always loved Pro Skater 3 the best. But I still think that, you know, they should have retained the original heart and soul of Pro Skater 4. To me, it's like they removed Pro Skater 4's career mode, not because they couldn't do it, because it would have taken more time and more effort. It kind of feels to me that they kind of looked at it and were like, well, it's easier for us to get the game out and quicker for us to get the game out if we change this element fundamentally for, you know, Pro Skater 4. And I think that's more the reason why they decided to do that, because otherwise it's like, you know, why even bother? Like, there would have been no reason for them not to do it other than time constraints or budget constraints or something in between.
Choose the weapons and abilities that fit your style. You can freely switch your class.
We're getting Metro 4 and 5 in one showcase. Oh, is that a joke regarding the the very similar Metroid / Stalker style FPSs? Yes. If this isn't as stressful as this could be a nice game to spend the night. Wait, if this isn't as stressful, this could be a nice game to spend the night chilling. Oh, you're talking about the boat game, Will? Yeah. Yeah, it looks kind of, it doesn't look scary at all. You're kind of just exploring abandoned areas, putting together this mystery. And I do like the element with the realistic boat physics. I think that could be interesting as far as travel goes. They really needed that Raspberry Pi running online for Catalyst.
We've got another round of back-to-back trailers up next, so keep your wits and blades always sharp. No, wait.
By the way, has anyone kept up to date on like the analog 3D and what's that PS1 FPGA system? I forgot what it's called. They just delayed the analog 3D. I'm actually kind of excited for it, although I think that analog's really terrible at communication. They make really great products, but for some reason, whoever's running the company, I almost think it's like a handful of people, like doing it in their spare time. It kind of has to be, you know, because there's kind of like no excuse for them not to put out all this press material and stuff. You're trying to sell a product, you want to advertise the product.
Welcome to Section 13, a top-down roguelike shooter.
But in any case, I'm excited for the 3D because as someone who wants to collect original N64 games and has, you know, I have a small collection there of my childhood games, having a system that could potentially play those games at their native target frame rates while retaining the original look, just being able to upscale well on an HD TV is really awesome. And I like the whole UI aesthetic that they're going for, but you know, they just delayed it. They delayed it like last minute. It was supposed to ship literally this month or any of the last 3 months. It's supposed to be Q1 of 2025. Literally, here we are at the end of March. I think only a couple days ago they announced, oh, we're delaying it. I didn't pre-order one, although I really was thinking about it. That'd be a great thing to unbox for the channel and to do some tests on. But I think it's important to see gameplay, and I just think we don't know as much about the system yet. But I do like that it exists, and I hope it's really good, because it'd be awesome to have something like that that's really good.
It's up to you to plunge into the unknown.
Dive into a realistic single-player first-person journey through the harsh northern latitudes as you... Oh, this is the description for Will of Light.
And bring some light to the dark.
All right, Silver. See you later. Thank you all for joining, or thank you, Silver, for joining the stream. I'm not going yet, unless we're done after this. This might be the end, because I thought they said it was only an hour.
Welcome, bandits from all.
Anyway, have a good night, Silver.
We are Bandit Trap, a home security company, and our new line of home defense products needs to be tested. So we're calling on you to do the job. Your objective, try to loot all 10 treasures scattered in our prepared house and escape from the robotic hands of our...
I forgot that FPGA PS1 system. I could probably look it up because I remember seeing... I think I followed the dude on Twitter.
this little fella packs all the skills to achieve our
But he does a bunch of mods, like for Nintendo Switch and all this stuff. He did like an OLED mod that you don't have to solder to the Switch motherboard for the Switch Lite and regular Switch, and that's such a huge advancement. Oh, this is that Ghost Runner / FPS Doom wannabe game that's coming out for PlayStation. This actually looks really good.
Future inhabitants of Eden. You have to reach the top chamber.
I can't find it. This is funny because everyone thought this game was going to be a marathon from Bungie. Just the aesthetic. We all thought, oh, this is a marathon. And then it's a new IP. And don't get me wrong, it's probably better than what Bungie would have put out. Bungie's doing a multiplayer extraction shooter, which, from what I understand, wasn't even what the original marathon was about. But because everyone's trying to create a continuous revenue stream, that's what we get these days. Anyway, this looks awesome. It's Doom meets Ghost Runner.
We are standing on the edge looking towards the unknown. See you on the other
This looks great. Metal Eden, that's what it's called. And it's coming soon. That's gonna be good.
Hello, Cybermyth combatants. Neonabyss 2 is a
Power Wash Simulator 2 is coming. Any thoughts on the new Naughty Dog game coming? I guess we don't really know much. I think it looks good. I'm excited that they're doing a new IP. Yeah, I'm curious to see what type of game it is. We know they create third-person games. It's gonna be third-person, but at the very end of that trailer, they showed this like giant like laser sword. So I'm just wondering if it's going to be a hack and slash game, or is it going to be something? Is there going to be guns in it? Like, I'm kind of curious what's going to happen there. But I like the aesthetic. I like the stuff they're going for. It's Naughty Dog, so you know the quality of it is going to be impeccable no matter what they make. It's just a shame that it took them the entire generation, or it's going to take them basically the entire generation to put out a new game.
Shaped to nurture.
There's got to be a better way of doing this. You know, development and all this stuff. It's a shame that you might get one game a generation from these studios, and somehow you have a couple of these big studios like Insomniac that managed to put out 3 or 4 games so far, or like Night Dive. Like, I don't know how they do it, but clearly whatever they're doing is working. The Last Caretaker, that looked interesting.
The Last Caretaker is a survival game where you bring humanity back from the brink of extinction.
I'm kind of like wishy-washy on their whole if you heard what Neil Druckmann said. I haven't watched the interview he did with Alex Garland, and I love Alex Garland. I think he's absolutely brilliant. That would be a good interview to watch, him with Neil Druckmann, just to see what sort of his thought process is. Oh, this is the Remedy game? No. It's completely different. I thought this was the Control multiplayer game. Any case, yeah, I need to watch that interview with Alex Garland and Neil Druckmann still. But he said that, I believe he said in that interview, yeah, don't count on there being another Last of Us game. We may or may not do it. Honestly, I'd be fine with that. I felt at the end of the first Last of Us that it didn't need a sequel. And when I played Last of Us 2, I felt at the end of Last of Us 2 that there didn't need to be a sequel. I'm fine with the bleak closure that Last of Us 2 provided. That'd be a good video to do a reminiscing on, because I never really talked about fully my thoughts on that game, at least in great detail or length. it's horrible. Not the game, but the themes and everything that is shown in that story is just, it's horrifying.
Please try to enjoy each game equally.
But I need to that'd be interesting to kind of do it. I wonder if enough time has passed, probably not, but I wonder if enough time has passed where people could kind of look at the game in a more balanced perspective now. But at the end of the day, the objective elements, you know, it's such a well-made game. It's not even funny. But yeah, I'd be fine with there not being another Last of Us personally. So I'm happy they're doing this new IP. We'll just see what it is. You're hoping for more Last of Us 3? Oh. You're pissed about the cancellation of multiplayer? Yeah, no, that should have just... I'm just annoyed that every studio feels like they have to do a service-based multiplayer game. No one would have complained if they said, you know what, here's Factions 2.0, it's just a simplistic multiplayer game, 6 modes, 10 maps, there you have it. And maybe you create, you know, DLC or something, you know, in the coming months. Like, you don't need to, like, I don't know why every company feels like they need to make the next big live service project. I almost feel like no one, the studios in charge, the publishing studios, discourage or just outright refuse to have basic multiplayer in games. There's nothing wrong with just basic, simplistic, match-based multiplayer. You don't need seasons, you don't need continuous updates and stuff. I mean, we've all logged hundreds of hours in the past Call of Duty games before any of this bullshit. And it was just as fun, if not more fun. In fact, it was more fun back then than what the games are today. By the way, I just downloaded the demo for this game, Karma, which looks like they had a Kojima fever dream and just spit out this project. It looks absolutely insane, but this is coming out in the next couple of weeks, and there's a demo right now you can download on PS5. And I haven't played the demo, but I went ahead and downloaded it. There's a trailer for this on YouTube that literally looks like Kojima trailer. You could have put edited by Hideo Kojima, and people would have been like, "Oh wow, that totally fits."
Now, we all know you like
You thought the second Last of Us was not the tasteful story-wise, but the gameplay was so brilliant. I could see that too. There's nothing wrong with disliking the story. It's just when people say automatically like it's a terrible game, and it's like, but it's perhaps the most polished and technically impressive game of the generation. You know, it's absolutely mind-boggling. You can, like, I just feel like people need to be more objective when it comes to, you know, looking at stuff. But I think they get their feelings in a bunch. There's nothing wrong with not liking something personally, but outright just going crazy over it. And I didn't think the first Last of Us was phenomenal as well. I've always preferred Uncharted. And I think it's because, as Tyler, you mentioned, taste-wise, when it comes to like the narrative, The Last of Us is so bleak and so depressing. Like, I feel I can jump into Uncharted and have a good time no matter what game, no matter what Uncharted I'm playing, and no matter what part of the game I'm playing. I'm going to have a great time playing Uncharted. With The Last of Us, it's a bit different. But, I can't deny that the gameplay. I've never played a more dynamic feeling combat system in a game before. Before The Last of Us Part 2. Like, just wow. So I have the remaster as well. I'm only interested in replaying it because of how it looks on PS5 Pro. Because when I played The Last of Us Part 2, I played it on PS5, but it was before the 60 FPS patch. So probably playing it now with the great PS5 Pro implementation and 60 FPS would probably make that whole gameplay experience just perfect. Did you see the new horror game coming that uses your webcam, forces you to actually hide in person from the No, I did not. Is that really happens? That's insane. That kind of reminds me of like the earlier Kinect games or PlayStation camera and stuff Like, remember in Until Dawn, you had to, like, hold the controller still. And, like, you were never ready for it. So sometimes when it happens, you're just, like, readjusting, you know, sitting on the chair. And the controller moves, of course, and it just ruins everything. Yeah. No, I agree with you on that title as well. There's a difference between having a well-written emotional story compared to a game that's just painful. Yeah. I got into it.
That's right, Frosthaven, the board game is now
There's just a lot to say on that. I remember when I beat The Last of Us, I'll end it on here. When I beat The Last of Us Part 2, I was sitting there in silence. And I just remember I was just like silent for like 10 or 15 minutes. I just like looked at, I just felt so emotionally exhausted. And I know that was intended. That was definitely 100% intended for you to feel that way. But I feel like, personally, if I was making The Last of Us 2, what I would have done, and I feel like this format would have pissed no one off. What I would have done is I wouldn't have even advertised a Joel and Ellie thing. I would have just completely ignored that in the advertising. I would have focused on the whole Abby character and would have said, this is a new character, new storyline, and just would have completely circumvented people's, anticipation of what it was. And for the first 4 days, you're playing as Abby and you're tracking down someone you think, and of course you have no expectations that Joel or Ellie are even in the game, because the advertising doesn't even hint, and every interview, their characters aren't even acknowledged, and downright, you just say they're not in the game. So you're playing the 4 days leading up to prior to that event, and then that event happens, and then you switch to Ellie. And then you play through the 4 days, going after those people. That's what I would have done. I think the problem with The Last of Us Part 2 is pacing. There's some pacing issues there. Because you're essentially playing the same time period from two different perspectives. And I get that what they're trying to showcase there. I just feel it's not as interesting from a narrative perspective as here's a lead up to the event, here's the actual event, and then here's the result, or here's the aftermath of that. And you could have still had basically the vast majority of the scenes in there, but I think that it would have been so much more interesting and would have came across so much better had you not had any expectations that these characters were even involved to begin with. Sure, it would have disappointed some people, and people would have been pissed off at just, oh, I wanted more Joel and Ellie. But then, again, you're circumventing, their anticipation. You're just, what do you call it? You're completely flipping it around, and then people are surprised when it happens, and it's completely unexpected. I think the leaks really hurt them as well. Whoever's in charge of Naughty Dog security, they need to fire that person and get someone else, because clearly their security measures are not up to snuff. The fact that someone could just hack in and get information, and it's happened multiple times, by the way, it wasn't just The Last of Us Part 2, it's happened for so many other studios, and to Naughty Dog as well multiple times, is just obnoxious. They need to get a better hold of their security. All right. Well, let's move on from The Last of Us Part 2. The game has infected everyone's contents and mind. The webcam horror game is called Eyes Never Wake. Recommended looking into it. Really? I have not seen it. Eyes Never Wake. It's on Steam. Didn't they just show this? They just showed it here then. Because I remember looking at some of the parts and I thought we just watched one of these trailers for it. I guess it didn't connect with me. I was too busy talking to you guys. I like how indie games tap into all the genres they usually, with potential, yeah. It's this is where all the variety comes from these days. I've saw more military shooters in this than the Xbox, the PlayStation, or not military shooters, but just shooters in general, than the Xbox, PlayStation, and Summer Games Fest combined.
All right, Nolan North. I think it's safe to say we've covered a ton of games today.
All right, we wrapping up now? This should be Chronos. You know they're going to save it for last because everyone's looking forward to this. As you can see, it's got a change in art direction. They decided to go for something a little bit happier. I could have swore they said it was going to show up. I have an email from them because I'm technically a co-streamer. I'm gonna look it up. Where is... Where the hell is it? That's weird. That's bizarre. The email for a future game show has disappeared. Unless the Gmail app is just complete trash, which it is.
Rave, Kingdom on the Distant Shores, is a city builder set in a fox-filled fantasy land.
I don't see it. I could have swore they said in the email, oh yeah, Chronos is going to be a part of the show. I was like, oh, that'd be great.
Final ones to watch, Deep Dive tackles the next spine-chilling game from
All right. I guess they're wrapping. There's going to be multiple trailers here. They're wrapping up.
Because it's time for a closer look at the claustrophobic world of Reanimal.
I think there's 3 more games.
Reanimal is a co-op.
This is the new game from we saw this. Isn't this from the guys who did the Little Nightmares games?
These kids grew up in a lovely place, but due to
which I never played those.
More apparent to play the game, that lovely place has turned.
But I've seen footage of that, and it looks really, really like the. I always think it's really impressive what they do with physics and animation. Because like, look at this. This looks fantastic.
The island itself, due to this inciting incident, has been fractured, and so it's in 3 large parts and a bunch of smaller bits. Each of your friends can be found.
I probably should play these games though. It looks really, really good.
Simple tale of find yourself in hell, go through a really scary place, survive, and rescue your friend. You know, it's a tale as old as time.
Like we really love.
I think they're also doing a Little Nightmares 3, right? But is it a different studio?
All these things and put it all together and come up with their theory, right? So like if we give away too much.
Because it says from the creators of 1 and 2, unless these guys are a new studio and they left to do this game while the existing studio is doing Little Nightmares 3. That might be what happened. Have I watched Poppin' Games? They are a game store that unbox games often. I have not. They're a YouTube channel, but they're also a game store.
And survive various things we pitch against you together, right? So it's about the 2 players.
It's a shame. I wish there was more game stores local to me. There's only like 1, and that's not GameStop, by the way. And it's a shame because most of my games and stuff, I pretty much exhausted the catalog over there in terms of like games that I'm looking to get for my collection, at least the 6th gen collection I'm going through right now. I pretty much got all the games I needed from that store, at least. So now I have to go online, and there's like no other ones that are local to me. Whenever I travel, I try my best to see if there's game stores local around. Like I was in Oregon like last year, and there was a game store about like 10-15 miles from where I was staying, and they had a lot of stuff there. I actually ended up getting like 10 games, some good stuff that I was kind of keeping an eye out for.
Together anyway, whether they was co-op or not.
But it's kind of a shame there's not enough of them.
A natural one. That like, people
it really kind of depends on where you are. I think if you're in like New York,
fun, you know,
You could probably find a lot of great
put something in the game,
mom and
we
pop
are trying
shops,
to make sure
but
it doesn't get boring.
at least here on the west side,
One thing we're
it's
really
not like that.
trying not to do is to give you the same thing over and over.
3 is
over
being made by
based
another
on
developer,
the
Little
recipe,
Nightmares
or
3.
instead
Okay.
We're really questioning ourselves: is this unique within the game? Right?
Well, this looks very much
across all
like
games,
Little
but
Nightmares to
trying
me.
give the player something fresh within the
You can
experience that
tell
we're
it's heavily
crafting, and
inspired,
hopefully that leads
but probably a
to
different
something that-
aesthetic,
that people
different
actually
characters. They're
enjoy.
still doing the whole 2-character thing.
Hope you
What
enjoyed
are the
that
devs who
behind the scenes
did
look at Reanimal. Wishes us
Limbo
only for
and
tourism.
Inside working on right now?
Reanimal is coming soon to
Because
PC,
those were
PlayStation, and
fantastic
Xbox.
projects, but I feel like we haven't heard from them in like almost a decade at this point.
Okay, Nolan. So it's no secret here that at the Future Game Show, we're huge fans of Remedy Entertainment and their
Oh, here we go.
very
The Control
curiously
multiplayer game.
entangled universe of games such as Control and Alan Wake.
And last year, the studio revealed a spin-off to Control called FBC Firebreak, a session-based co-op shooter.
I really hope, I'm like praying that this game is successful for Remedy. Not because I'm super interested in it and I want to keep playing it for a long time, but because I know if this game is super successful for them, this is going to help fuel all of their more creative ambitions for single-player games. Because, you know, Alan Wake 2 was not a financial success for them, at least immediately. It took them a year or so to actually make back their money on it. I still haven't played it, but yeah, I think launching exclusively on Epic, they weren't on Steam, and they didn't have a physical release, and they're so adamant about that, like, you know, we are charging you less money because it's a digital-only release. So, this looks really good, but I'm just hoping this is a big success for them so that it helps fuel the studio with their future creations. And I love Control. I think this aesthetic, look how awesome this looks. I don't even like multiplayer games anymore, but this looks great. Like, I want to play this. Anyway, I just hope it's a really, you know, popular and a well-received game for them.
Might contain something useful, but it'll probably attract a lot of...
And Control's environments are perfect for this style of game. Changing rooms and elements and these enemies and physics and all this stuff, oh my god, it's the perfect playground for a multiplayer game like this. I wonder if you have powers too. I wonder if you have powers like Jesse does. That's awesome.
Alright, crew. Time to
Yeah,
clean
fingers
house.
crossed. I really hope it does well. Summer 2025, that's a good time period for it. People are getting off of school. You know, they have ample time to play it. Yeah, that's going to be good. Looks like what Back to Blood should have been. Back 4 Blood. I like that game, but yeah, it had a really short lifespan. It had a really short lifespan.
Is it time for our final trailer?
No, I think it might be.
No, is this Chronos?
But thankfully, our
Yes.
buddies at Bloober
Okay.
Team are sending us off with a developer diary for Cronus.
The question is this game coming this year? Because if so, that is really impressive. They just put out the Silent Hill 2 remake. Now they're going to be coming out with this game.
Chronos, it's sci-fi survival horror.
Although
and
they
in a
need to
way,
fix the Silent Hill
it's
2
been
remake
come true
on
for us to
PS5
play.
Pro. I keep looking into it now and then, and still, after almost 6 months since it got a PS5 Pro patch, it's still in a terrible state. You're getting a worse experience if you play it on the PS5 Pro.
And the travelers, because there's more of them, are being sent to the ruins of human civilization to search for the time rifts and jump back in time to extract people who didn't survive the apocalypse.
Travelers are the only ones that can survive encounters with monsters.
We are calling them the orphans because they are what was left from humanity.
This looks really good, man.
To show you more about our game, we can confirm that
it's like Dead Space, but you're not on a space station. You're in this weird,
stay tuned.
More urban environments. Wow, that was like, okay. Well, it says coming 2025, so
PC, PlayStation, and Xbox later this year. But you can see more.
That is impressive. If it doesn't get delayed, that's an impressive output.
From GDC, which airs directly after the spring show.
That's right. For more exclusive info on Bloober Team's new
All right.
you just need to stay tuned to the platform you're watching right now.
I'm not going to be live streaming that. Sorry. I just wanted to watch the showcase.
Same thing is still rolling for some reason.
I might play Forza 3 right now afterwards. How did I rate the show? I liked a lot of the stuff. I thought it was pretty solid overall. I'm actually kind of happy I did stream it. I think this worked out well because my expectations initially were like, yeah, it's not gonna have that much, and then ultimately, oh, this is a new surprise. 3D Realms and Saber. Renowned franchise. What is this? It's not Doom. It looks like it, but it's not. Painkiller. I have not heard of that. This is an existing franchise? That looked really good. I have not heard of that. Is anyone here a fan of, I guess, the original? Because it just looks like straight up Doom. Here, I'll mute it as I'm talking here. Fast-paced, first-person shooting action, arena style. Anyway, yeah, Tyler, was it you who asked me what I thought about this? Yeah, how would I rate this show? Well, I'll tell you this. I wasn't expecting much. When I looked at the lineup, I was like, okay, there's actually be some good stuff in here. But overall, I am glad I streamed this. It was a good idea, and thank you for reminding me of it. Yeah, I think there's a lot more variety of stuff here that I like a lot. You know, it's not just like, again, my main issue with the games that we get today is like they're all like kind of hack and slash style games. And again, I like those games. I like action heavy hack and slash projects, whatever you want to call it. But look at the variety of games here. I mean, you can't say that there's probably at least one or two games in here for everybody, regardless of what you like, and some really, really awesome looking things too, mixed in with some really cool and unique indie projects. So it is, I do think it was a really solid showcase, and I am happy that we, I'm happy that I streamed it. I'm happy that you guys are here watching it with me. So thank you guys very much. Yeah, I guess none of you guys ever heard of that as well. Painkiller. I gotta look it up. Painkiller game. Oh, it was from 2004 and then ported to Xbox in 2006, the original Xbox. It's a 6th-gen game from People Can Fly. Really, it's from the Bulletstorm guys, Gears of War Judgment guys. Okay, I mean, it looks really, really good. It definitely looks really, really good. So, but I just remember nothing about this. But that whole era of gaming has kind of been lost to my memory. All right. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Yeah, so I guess the next showcase for the Future Games Show will be the Summer Games Fest. The next live stream that you guys could expect on the channel is for the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, which I think is next month, early April. So I'll definitely be watching that. I did not get invited to the Nintendo Switch 2 player, you know, testing thing where you can actually go and play some games there. I signed up, but I didn't get invited. I didn't win the lottery. So yeah, basically I won't be there if you're going, but I'll definitely be streaming the live stream. I probably will be picking up a Switch 2 on launch, although I'm still holding on to my Nintendo Switch Lite because like if I get a Switch 2, it's going to be because Jacob wants a Switch 2, and I think what he's and I have talked about doing is trading in the Switch, and then or he has the regular Switch, trading in the regular Switch, and then using the credit or whatever to get a Switch 2. So basically, I'll do an unboxing of the console if that comes to pass. But I'm probably more interested in, honestly, a Switch 2 Lite compared to the regular Switch 2, because I never played the Switch docked on the TV. I've only done that like for one game, and I think it was the Metroid Prime Remaster game, because it just like that type of game just plays better on a television with a controller in hand than portable mode. But everything else I've played in portable mode and I've been perfectly fine with. So yeah, but that'll be the next live stream. And then of course we got the Summer Games events. I'm sure Sony will just announce the day before, hey, we got another State of Play showcase. So I'm sure there'll probably be something in between that and the Summer Games Fest events coming up in June. But until then, I guess I'll see you guys later. Appreciate you all joining me for today, and hope you guys have a good rest of your week. There is a new video coming out on the channel tomorrow, another new gameplay discussion, and I am quickly falling behind on rendering videos for the channel, so I need to be working really hard in the next week or two to get as much content out on the channel as possible, because I had nothing uploaded that's scheduled for the months of like April, May, and June. I need to catch up. So I'm going to be working on some more videos, but there's a new video coming up to the channel tomorrow, a new gameplay discussion, all right? I'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much, and have a good rest of your day. Bye.